Hey guys, it's Kasey. Welcome to another episode of Random Thoughts of a 20-something. I know it has been a while. We're going on, I think, 4 or 5 weeks of me not posting. And I just wanted to kind of fill you guys in on what's been going on, what's up, some things I've been thinking about, and just getting back into the flow of it. I really wanted to be pretty consistent with this podcast, and I had an idea. And of course, when you have a plan, it doesn't always go as planned. You have real life things going on that may interfere, or you just may not be, really feeling up to being your best or doing your best. So we're just going to jump in. This is just off the cuff. I don't have anything written down. It's just going to be me just talking. Hopefully you guys find little tidbits in this that you want to share or that speak to you. Maybe you've been going through the same thing. But just catching you guys up. So back in February, and we're kind of going back, I had a week vacation just to kind of decompress. Just for you guys that don't know, I do have a full-time job, and it is in the financial industry, and it is pretty stressful, I would say. When you're dealing with people and their money, or just a job in general, so it's always good to take some time off. And I wanted to do a separate podcast on the importance of vacations and kind of just resting your mind and taking time for yourself, which we may revisit at a later time. But, I was really looking forward to this week because I'm going to tell you guys, even though I have vacation time, I've always had vacation time since I've been working and all that type of stuff. I normally have more like staycations, or when I do go out of town or travel, it's only for a couple of days or a long weekend. I typically don't go anywhere for like a week. So I didn't go anywhere tropical or to an island or anything like that, but it was really a stepping stone for me to just leave my surroundings and go somewhere for a week. So I went and visited my brother, and, we had a good time. I would say that it was a departure from my day to day. Even if I were to stay at home on my vacation for that week, I still would have ended up doing different things, or it may not have felt like a real departure. So I was really happy to kind of get away and do something different, explore a different state, and just really enjoy myself. So that was pretty good. I tell you that after having days off consecutively and then going back to work, you just have to get your mind right. You're kind of dreading, okay, what is it that is going to meet me once I go back to work? Am I going to have a whole bunch of emails? Am I going to have different issues that I have to solve? Am I really going to be in a mental state to really tackle work and dealing with coworkers and interacting and being social and just getting back into your day-to-day routine? I have to say that it wasn't that bad. And sorry if I'm saying a lot, because this isn't really a planned podcast. I just felt like it was better to just come and just put it all out there and just talk than to always have something planned. So if you hear me saying it's something that I'm working on, I am conscious of it, but hopefully you guys can excuse that. So yeah, so vacation went well. It was definitely different from my day-to-day, from my usual vacation and all that stuff. But I will tell you that it's like I have so many ideas. I have so many things planned. So many things that I want to do, so many things that I want to see, that sometimes it's just so overwhelming. Do you ever get to a point like that where you're just like, you're just wearing yourself out by all that you want to accomplish, and then it's just like, well, you have all these things that you want to accomplish, and since you haven't accomplished them yet, or it's not the way that it should have been, then you kind of get down on yourself, or you kind of feel like, well, is that really going to happen? Is it really going to be that way? So coming back from vacation, it was fine, but I was kind of still left with, okay, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Ultimately, I would have to tell you guys that, and I don't know if it's from me just being a Virgo, from my personality, I really envision myself as an entrepreneur. from a young age. I mean, from selling lollipops in the parking lot of my elementary school, which I got in trouble for. But just like, making t-shirts when I was in high school, customized spray painted t-shirts that were like a huge hit at my high school, and I was selling them or making them for my friends, and we were on the news and different things like that. So like, I've always had this business savvy, entrepreneurship, be your own boss type of attitude. But I haven't had an endeavor, or I wouldn't even say an idea, because I feel like I have lots of ideas, but I don't know, maybe it's the follow through. And then these days, with so many entrepreneurs out there, so much to kind of compete with, and I hate to use the word compete, because, you read so many memes and different inspirational things that say you're your own competition, like don't worry about anybody else type stuff. But you get what I'm saying. Like, whether you're a content creator, now that's a thing, whereas 10 years ago when I had first started YouTube, like, what? You want to do what? You want to make videos? That's weird. Or you want to vlog? What is that? You want to write stuff down for the public to see? That's strange, but now in 2018, like, that is, content creation, YouTube, vlogging, podcasts, you name it, being an Instagram model or an Instagram influencer. Those are real life careers. Those are real life jobs, and they're spearheading people to be, multimillionaires, or to just experience different things, or to do things that they've always dreamed of. So, like I said, I've kind of come to a point, and this isn't like a crucial point in my life, and like, it's not really, I didn't just turn 25, or it's not like a big milestone birthday or anything like that, but I feel like going back to the very first episode of the podcast, where we talk about kind of reevaluating your goal list, your life list, seeing where you stand type thing. I kind of feel like that's where I am, and it kind of snuck up on me. And it's more so not just like adding things to the list. It's almost like an overhaul of my list. Like, really thinking about, what do you want to do? Like, you're good at what you do. You've always been good at different things that you've done career-wise in the corporate world. But is that really what makes you happy? No, not really. I mean, it's, like I said, it's something that I'm good at. I enjoy doing it, but that's somebody else's dream. That's somebody else's goal. And when I say someone else's, I just mean I'm not working for myself. I'm not doing really something that I envisioned as a child or young or out of college that I thought I would be doing. And it's a great career, don't get me wrong. And people that have 9 to 5 or corporate jobs or your standard job, it's nothing wrong with that by any means. I mean, you have obligations, and I don't want to just belittle it to bills to pay or anything like that. But I mean, not everybody can be an entrepreneur. Not everybody can have an unconventional job or career. But I feel like that I'm not one of those people that won't have it. So it's just kind of like, when is my time going to be? And then too, like, the biggest thing with me is, like I said, is that follow through. And we kind of discussed this again in the very first episode. So I'm kind of like revisiting things from then. If you haven't listened to the first episode of the podcast, go back and kind of catch up on the 3 that I've posted so far. But it's like that follow through, that is a crucial part. Consistency. Are you being consistent with your dream? And I saw a meme on Instagram, and I thought I screenshotted it. And that's what I'm famous for doing, is just screenshotting different things that I see, or writing things down so that I can like remember it and reflect and different things. I don't know if you guys do that, but, and it basically was talking about, if you work 9 to 5, and it's just pretty generic, but if you work 9 to 5 on somebody else's dream, and then you go home and never work on your own, then you're doing yourself a disservice, pretty much. Just summing it up. I don't remember word for word what it said, but it really resonated with me, because I was like, well, that's true. I mean, just think about how many people in the world that go to work. They might hate it. They might be okay with it. They might like it, but it's not at all what they envision doing. Maybe it's owning a restaurant. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's being a model. Whatever your dream is, it's not something that you're doing currently, pretty much. And so you're putting so much effort into getting up at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, working till 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. You get home, and do you really allow yourself time at the end of your day, or during your day, or on your weekends, to improve your dream, to satisfy your dream? And I have to say that I think I've been lacking in that. and I need to get back to it. So for me, this is a big step, getting back into podcasts, because I could have easily just done something tonight, watched a TV show, which is what I was doing. I was watching Modern Family, catching up on past episodes, and that show is crazy, hilarious, by the way. But I was just like, something just kind of pushed me. I got over to my computer and I was just like, are you really about to do this? Do you really feel like doing this? And that's your other side of yourself. I don't know what her name is inside of me, not to make it sound like I have multiple personalities, but you know what I mean? Like that side of yourself that's self-doubting, that's self-sabotaging. That side, you don't need to give that side too much play. You need to listen to the other side that promotes positivity, that encourages you, that, really focuses on your dream and allows you to be consistent with your goals and all that type of stuff. So anyway, yeah, coming off vacation, that's kind of what I've been feeling over the past couple of weeks, is just kind of going through the routine, just doing my day-to-day stuff, and then missing consecutive episodes of doing my podcast. Because then I was just like, is this going to really reach people? That's when you start to self-doubt, you start to compare, oh, well, this podcast or this, that, or this, it's not like mine, or I'm not going to get the viewership. And I'm just like, well, I'm sure a lot of people that first started their very successful venture felt that way, or they weren't quite sure at least how it was going to go. And now they've been able to support themselves, support their families, to really make that a career. And who would have thought? I mean, even though somebody will say, well, I never felt that way. Like I always knew I was going to make it, but there has to be an element of surprise there, right? Like you have to, there's no way that you would know that, okay, I'm going to be this successful. And success is measured by however you measure it. I don't want you guys to think that I only measure it by money or status. Those are your most popular measures of success. But however you measure it is basically what I'm referring to. But I am going to mention the most popular being success as in views, buys. So like if you wrote a book and people are purchasing it, money. So however much you generate from doing that very awesome thing that you've always dreamed about doing, fame. In some cases, that's how some people measure success. That depends too. Yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like I'm meant to do more, meant to be more. And I kind of made the comment of like, I'm still on this earth for a reason. Like, I'm sure there's more. There has to be more. There's so much more to see in life, so much more to do in life, that I have to start making it happen. Nothing's going to be handed to you. Nothing is going to, you know what I mean? Like, you just have to go after it. And that's just kind of what I'm starting to see. I mean, I knew that, but see it even more. The people that win, so to speak, are the ones that, don't take no for an answer, that still knock down doors, that still hustle, that still are consistent. The person who has a YouTube channel that now has millions of followers, maybe 6 years ago only had like a follower or two, So consistency plays a huge part, and follow through play a huge part in your journey, I believe. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to kind of let that out a little bit and put that into the atmosphere. Maybe this helps someone out there that's going through the same thing, or reflecting on the same thing, or feeling the same way. So yeah, so that's part of what's been going on. I've been looking at other ventures too, not just podcasts, but trying to see if I want to get back into YouTube a little bit. And I know that some markets are like overly saturated. That's what everybody's talking about, whether it's areas, like certain areas in the country, like, oh, you don't want to go there. It's so many people there. You'll have to, combat with this, that, or the other. Or, oh no, you don't want to do that. There's so many people that are doing that, So however it's coming at you, it is what it is. But I'm just like, well, why should that stop me? I'm me. I'm unique. It doesn't matter how many people have a YouTube channel, or how many people have podcasts, or how many people have Instagrams. And, you're you. And if you being you, if you're genuine and real, that's going to resonate with somebody, and they're going to like your uniqueness, and they're going to support you and follow you, and, see what your journey is going to be. So I'm going to have to grab some water real quick, guys. Hold on just a second. The other thing that I notice is like when seasons change, like when you're going from fall to winter, winter to spring, spring to summer. I feel like they're very reflective times. Like people are just kind of anticipating this newness. And I think I touched on this before or mentioned it at some point, but it's this newness that kind of gets you antsy, gets you worked up, gets you reflective, just makes you a little unsettled. And in a way, it's it's unsettling in a bad way, but still at the same time, it's unsettling and unnerving in a good way. I don't know if any of those words make sense, but what I'm saying is we're about to go into a new season. Spring, warm weather, people are vacationing, people are doing things, people are feeling a lot more active, a lot more social. They're not wanting to hibernate and be in their own space. They instead want to surround themselves around people. And I feel like that's kind of what's kind of rattling me a little bit. Just on a personal note, my birthday is in August. Okay, so I'm at the end of August. I'm a summer baby. I'm a Virgo, so that kind of conflicts. One, because it's summer, that's super social time period. But as a Virgo, on the later end of the month, and I don't know if you guys are into signs or anything like that. I wouldn't say that I'm an expert at it or really too into it, but I'm into mine. Let's just say, as a Virgo, I'm a perfectionist. I have a very strong work ethic. I like things to be planned. And I don't even know where I'm going with this, but so with all that impending stuff coming up, I'm kind of reflecting on different things that I want to do, different things that I want to accomplish. And I kind of feel like, and I don't want to say this the wrong way because Lord, hopefully I'm still on this earth coming up, but I just mean like with the end of the year coming, and you're probably like, whoa, it's only March. Like, what are you talking about the end of the year? But can you believe that it's almost the end of March? So that's my point. Like time is flying, and I'm just like, there's so much that I want to accomplish just in this year. And then I was thinking, I was like, why do you always have to put timestamp? That's that planner in me, and that's why I'm tying this in. That's that planner in me, that Virgo in me, that I'm just like, I have to have a timestamp. I have to have a timestamp. I have to do this by then and this by this. And I think that when I fall short or when I don't reach that milestone or when that date rolls around and I haven't accomplished what it is I said that I was going to accomplish, I start to get a little down on myself, or I start to get like, self-sabotaging. Like, you really don't need to do this. You really don't, even though you put all this hard work into making this happen, even though you bought this and did this for you to be able to start this venture or to do this, and so I'm saying all this to say that try to get out of your own way, pretty much. Don't allow timetables and restrictions to, prevent you from accomplishing your goals. Like, so what that you did a to-do list or a goals list and you haven't mastered it yet, and you said you were going to do it by the end of the month or the end of the year. Who cares? The fact of the matter is that you do it. So even though I'm a list maker, that's just who I am. I love writing things down. I love checking boxes, feeling accomplished in that way. I do have to kind of cut myself some slack sometimes and just realize, like, it doesn't always happen. It does not happen on my time. It happens when it's time. That's pretty good. Yeah, it doesn't happen on my time. It happens when it's time. So I want you to think that, well, if it doesn't happen on your time and it happens when it's time, then why should I even try? That's not what I'm saying. You're still trying and you're still improving because you're building yourself up. You're making yourself prepared for that next step. And that's the journey. That's what you're doing. So if your goal is to go on a dream vacation and you're just like, oh my gosh, I wrote down that I was going to save $500 over the next couple of months and I haven't saved anything. Don't be as hard on yourself as like, I guess I just won't be going on that vacation then. reevaluate, see what you can, finagle, work out, hustle to be able to make that goal happen. And if it doesn't happen, if you're not able to do that trip by the end of the year like you originally planned, then you need to see why it didn't work. And I'm kind of saying this to you guys, and I don't want you guys to think that I'm an expert by any means with all of this, because I'm not perfect. I just 14 minutes showed you my struggle of what I've been going through and what I've been considering. But it's just kind of like, just reevaluate then. Okay, so it's the new year. You didn't go on your dream vacation. That sucked because you really wanted to go. What can you do differently this time to allow yourself to go? Don't harp on the fact that, oh, I'll never take a dream vacation, or I'll never do this, or I'm getting older and I can't do this. Like, just see what you may have to alternate in order for it to happen. And so you can control only so much. And when you become super controlling, which by nature I feel like I am, then it's just more of a bad trait than it could be a strength. It's more of a weakness than a strength. And I think whenever somebody says the word controlling anyway, it has a negative connotation. But control to me can be a very strong feeling or feature or, attribute about a person, so control just means like you have things together, you have things in order, you're focused, you're determined, you're humble, you're ready, instead of it being overbearing and too hands-on and like the negative thing. So we kind of have to take some of the power and the negativity away out of some of these words that we use. And I'm really into words, and I don't know if it's the creativeness in me, but I like adjectives. I like to say different words that mean the same thing, synonyms, because I feel like they have different types of meaning. So it could mean the same thing, but you feel something differently when I say a different word. So yeah, that's kind of where I am. Also, what I want to kind of touch on a little bit, and this is probably going to go over our 30-minute threshold, and I don't know, I might start making these podcasts a little longer, because now that I'm kind of freelancing and just talking to you guys, I have a little bit more time, I guess. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was moving. It's a scary thing to choose to move your space, to move your body, to move all of your belongings to another place, either in your city or your state, or to move out of state or out of the country or across the country or wherever you're talking about moving. It's just the idea of moving anything can be so stressful. And so I've been contemplating a lot of things, and you're probably like, wow, I can pick so many different things out of just the first 20 something minutes that you've been talking. But moving is the other aspect of growth and improvement. I feel like you have to, and I'm not saying to constantly move and to not have a permanent residence or anything like that, or a permanent space. But I do feel like it's good to, in order to grow, you have to see a little bit more. And there's only so much you can see from just one place, especially if you feel like that one place is a little stifling, or you just need a new environment. Now, if you live in your city, you love your city or your county or country or wherever, it doesn't mean that you can't stay where you are and still explore and still venture and travel and have another place somewhere else, But I'm just saying, for me, currently, where I live, it's considered a city, but it's kind of small town. And I feel like there are creative people here, but very few people are allowed to be creative, if that makes sense. And I feel like I need to be in an environment that embraces different and newness and creativity and freedom and positivity. I need a space for that. And, it's only so much that you can generate in your home or in your room or in your, wherever you live or lay your head. Sometimes it's about actually changing your environment. And for me, it's going to be more of a true city. So I've been looking at certain locations. LA has been one. Atlanta has been another. I've been looking at some areas in Florida, Texas a little bit. Just kind of feeling where my area is. What's my next chapter, so to speak? Where do I see myself? I like to be stimulated. I call it an aesthetic. I love the word aesthetic because I feel like that's just me. Like that, and that's everybody. Whatever your thing is, whatever your niche is, whatever your vibe is, that's another word that people use. For me, it's aesthetic. Things that how I envision things, how I envision my life, how I envision my house, my car, my whatever, my family, my unit. That's my aesthetic. That's what I think of. So currently I feel like I've been, living, working, but not necessarily where I want to be. So I feel like the first step, and I feel like the first step is just acknowledging the issue. The first step is acknowledging that you have a problem. No. But, kind of identifying what it is that you are going through, identifying what it is that you don't like. And then the next step is, okay, working your plan. What are we going to do to fix it? What are we going to do to get you up out of wherever you are? What are we going to do to get you to be an entrepreneur? What are some areas that you feel like you have very good ideas? Then it's going to be hustling. And what I mean by hustling, because sometimes that has a negative connotation. Hustle to me just means going after it. It means not taking no for an answer. It means, late nights, early mornings, networking, research. That's hustle to me. No real downtime, so to speak. I mean, it's just kind of like being on your grind. So if any of those words make sense to you or that you prefer, substitute it for whatever I'm saying. Let me grab some more water. All right, guys. I had gotten a little choked up, so had to take a quick break, drink some water. But yeah, so many things have been just kind of going through my mind. So many things. For me, you just feel like success has to happen for you. And not that I feel entitled to it. I know that I'm going to have to work for it. Sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes you tend to look at other people and what they have or what they do and be envious or jealous or even self-doubting, just be like, oh yeah, you could never do that. Like they're super talented or more talented than you. And again, that's that self-doubt or that's that sabotage coming into play. And it's just kind of like, you are your biggest advocate. You are your biggest fan. Even when you feel a little unsteady about what you're doing, still do it. You don't have to prove anything to anyone else but yourself. And so for me, I have to get into a habit of saying, don't worry about how everybody else perceives you. Don't worry about how many people are following you or not following you. Don't worry about, how long this may take. This may go over your timetable of what you want to accomplish. The fact is that you're doing it. And that is the biggest step, is just getting started. I have a tickle in my throat, so I don't want y'all to think that I'm like crying or anything over here. Even though it's totally okay to get emotional. I kind of did before I started this because I was like, am I really going to be this vulnerable only on this? I can't even remember how many episodes I've done so far, only on the 3rd episode. But I feel like that's real. I mean, I feel like there's no shame in being vulnerable and being sensitive and showing emotion. Emotion can be strength. Emotion, some people deem as weakness, but I just feel like emotion can be a good thing. And it can show that you are passionate, and it can show that you are really dedicated or into whatever that you're talking about, pretty much. So, this, I guess, I don't know what I'm going to call this. I haven't really figured it out yet. These podcasts started as very structured, and I actually might like the way that they become a little bit more random, hence the title. which I think would be real. Just me just kind of giving you my thoughts, telling you how I feel, drinking some water, being lost for words, whatever the case may be. This is what a 20-something may feel. This is how I feel. And you don't have to be a 20-something to feel this way. You may be a 30-something or 40-something. But us as people feel all sorts of things and combat all sorts of different things that come in our life or people that come in our life. And just know that you can handle it. You can do it. It's not going to be easy. It's not always easy. But the best things that you work for are truly great. So if I have any entrepreneurs out there, any content creators, anyone, you may not even have a title of what you are or what you want to become or what you envision yourself. Maybe you are thinking of something that you want to do that doesn't even have a name yet. I mean, how cool is that? It doesn't even have a name yet. Though that's super fun. It's super scary though, because at the same time, you don't have anybody that's doing what you're doing. But just know that you're the light. You can do this. Sometimes you may have to be your own support system, your own cheerleader, or sometimes you may have a very awesome support system, but it's not actually motivating you. Like, I have great people in my life that constantly motivate and constantly challenge me, but that didn't spur me to go ahead and do my podcast 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago. It's not until you want to do it that it actually happens. So even though you have these ideas, it may not be the time. I think that it's always good to at least get started on it, whether it's just doing research, whether it's just brainstorming, just starting. Even if you think it's step by step or breadcrumb by breadcrumb, at least you're getting started on it. I hope you guys take away a good amount of things from this podcast. Hopefully it touched you. And like I said, this is what I thought about over the last couple of weeks. And another thing that I wanted to talk about too is I think it's a lot of pressure on me. Like I said, I don't work from home. Let me take that back. I don't work from home yet. I'm not an entrepreneur as my job title yet. I do still have a full-time 9-to-5 job. So the Monday posting may not happen consistently. I thought that if I set a time and I was, that would prompt me to make sure that I post every Monday. But sometimes when you put a stamp on it, sometimes it can be more dreading than it is excitement. So I feel like in true fashion of my title, in order for it to be random, it's just going to be random. Whenever I feel something on my spirit that I want to share with you guys, I'm just going to pop on here and share it. Now, I still believe in being consistent, so that doesn't mean that I'm only going to post once a month, but I am going to do it at least probably once a week or once every 2 weeks. So just be looking for it. Sometimes you may get several posts in 1 week, depending on how crazy my life is or how many things are on my spirit or my mind. But I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. So again, don't look for me every Monday, but look for me every week or every 2 weeks. And continue to follow me on all social media platforms, Instagram. Also, I do have a Podbean that you guys can follow. This podcast is available on iTunes or the App Store under the podcast app. So just search for it there. For the people that have been listening, thank you guys so much. Please continue to share. Like I said, this is a dream of mine to just kind of lend however I'm feeling, and hopefully this helps somebody. And let me know if you guys have any requests or anything that you want me to cover. Just leave that in the comment section or send me an email. Okay, so in the Random Thoughts of a 20-something podcast episodes, I normally leave you guys with a quote. Tonight I have two, and I normally just do one, but I feel like both of this was a double episode pretty much. I covered so many different things that we're going to leave this here. And even if you're not an entrepreneur, take what you can from the quotes. Okay. First one. The true entrepreneur is a doer, not a dreamer. I'm going to repeat that for you guys. The true entrepreneur is a doer, not a dreamer. And that is by Nolan Bushnell. Now, I just kind of want to summarize with that. That's excellent. I mean, it's so enticing to be an entrepreneur and to be your own boss, but by no means does that mean that it's going to come easy. It doesn't mean that you're going to, even though you can work from home or work from anywhere, you're still going to have to work. You're still having to put your name out there and get things accomplished in whatever field that you're trying to build. So the true entrepreneur is a doer, not a dreamer. That's the first one. And the last one that I'll leave you guys with is entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. Again, entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. And that's just awesome, an awesome play on words. And that is by an unknown author. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. I'm recording this on Thursday. Hope to have this up by the weekend. So hopefully you all can take something from it and start your week or in your week, however that works. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.